I'm 33, male, and until recently I was set to marry Nadia, who's 31. We'd been together for 6 years, engaged for 2. This wasn't some fleeting romance. We'd faced real challenges together, scraping by to pay rent in our early days, balancing tight budgets to keep food on the table, and even spending a tough year living in our parents' basement to save for our first house. We weren't perfect, but we were strong. Or so I believed. 3 months before our wedding, with the venue secured, invitations sent, and deposits paid, Nadia came home one evening with a heavy tone in her voice, the kind that signals trouble. I braced myself, expecting maybe a family issue or a delay due to her mom's usual drama. Instead, she sat me down and said, "I've been reflecting a lot lately. I feel like I haven't fully lived." I was baffled. "What do you mean?" I asked. Then she dropped the bombshell. "I want to try an open relationship before we tie the knot, just to be certain." I was stunned, staring at her as if she'd suggested we start a llama farm. After 6 years together, 2 as fiancés, she suddenly wanted to explore other options, as if our commitment was a rough draft she needed to revise. I shut it down immediately. No yelling, no theatrics, just a clear, firm no. I told her I wasn't interested in turning our relationship into a game of trust roulette with the woman I planned to spend my life with. She broke into tears, accused me of being controlling, and insisted I didn't understand her need to experience life. Apparently, she needed to date others to confirm I was the one. She tried to soften it, claiming it would be purely physical, that she'd stay emotionally loyal, and that a bit of freedom would make us stronger, like some recycled self-help mantra. It felt crushing and humiliating. I'd been faithful, dependable, her anchor through every storm. Now I was just a fallback she wanted to shelve temporarily. The next week was unbearable. She flooded me with articles, social media posts hyping open relationships, podcast snippets, even a ridiculous quiz about attachment styles. Every time I stood my ground, she acted like I was the one being unreasonable. I started questioning my own sanity, wondering if I was wrong for wanting a committed relationship with my fiancé. Finally, I asked point blank, "Is there already someone else?" She hesitated, then gave a playful smile, saying, "No, it's not about anyone specific. I just don't want regrets." One quiet evening, as she rambled on about this being temporary, I looked her in the eyes and said, "Fine, let's do it." She froze, as if she hadn't expected me to agree. Then a wide smile spread across her face like she'd just won a prize. "Really? You're okay with this?" she asked, eyes gleaming. I nodded, keeping my face neutral. "Sure, why not?" Then she launched into a list of rules like we were negotiating a contract. No drama, keep it casual, no emotional attachments, full honesty if anything happened, and absolutely no falling for anyone else. The way she laid it out, so calculated, made me think she'd been planning this for a while. I nodded along, calm on the outside, but inside I was reeling. How did my relationship come with a user manual? That same night, she downloaded a dating app, sat on the couch, and started swiping like she was browsing a sale. She giggled at some profiles, even showed me one she called a budget Chris Hemsworth. I said nothing, just excused myself to bed. That moment lingered like a bad taste. She wasn't hesitant or remorseful, just thrilled. That's when something in me shifted. I wasn't angry or vengeful, I just stopped caring. I wasn't out to hurt her. I was done playing the idiot. Nadia acted like she'd discovered a loophole in our relationship, assuming I'd just wait in the wings while she explored. But I didn't jump into the game right away. I wasn't about to mirror her by swiping through apps. For the first few days, I felt numb, like I was watching someone else's life through a haze. She was out almost every other night, casually mentioning names like they were characters in a story. "Met up with this guy Chase for drinks," she'd say. "Hung out with a photographer on Wednesday, then someone from the gym on Friday." I didn't ask for details, just gave a curt cool and moved on. My lack of reaction seemed to unsettle her, but maybe she liked that. Maybe my silence made her feel justified. By day 5 or 6, I started thinking about who I might connect with, not out of spite, but because if this was our new reality, I wasn't going to sit idly by. That's when Camille came to mind. Camille and Nadia were once like sisters, childhood best friends, neighbors who shared everything, college roommates with matching trinkets. But 2 years ago, their friendship imploded. The cause. Camille made a move on me. Not a physical one, but during a backyard barbecue at our place. When Nadia stepped away, Camille leaned in and said, "If I were her, I wouldn't be taking my time locking you down." It was bold, not flirty, but I brushed it off awkwardly and told Nadia later. She was livid, not at me, but at Camille. She cut her off completely, blocked her everywhere, posted vague, Some friends aren't what they seem, captions online, and acted like Camille had betrayed her in the worst way. Camille was gone from our lives, no discussion allowed. So while Nadia was off on her self-discovery quest, I thought about reaching out to Camille. Not for anything romantic, just to talk, to get an outside perspective on the mess I was in. I sent her a simple message. Hey, been a while. This might sound wild, but Nadia pushed for an open relationship and I agreed. Not looking to stir trouble, just wondering if you'd want to catch up. Coffee? She replied in minutes. No way she actually went for it. I'm free. Let's talk. We met that weekend at a neutral coffee shop across town. Camille looked mostly the same, shorter hair, sharper vibe, but still confident and observant. She opened with, "So you finally snapped out of her spell, huh?" I laughed, more out of disbelief than humor. Not my choice. She wanted freedom, so I let her have it. We talked for nearly 2 hours. Camille didn't gloat, which I respected. She said she'd always thought Nadia took me for granted, even back when we all hung out. I didn't disagree. Eventually, I clarified I wasn't looking to hook up or get revenge, just needed someone who didn't see me as an extension of Nadia. She nodded, saying, no strings attached, just two people reconnecting. But there was an unspoken weight from our shared past. Still, we kept it light, sipping coffee and venting about life. When I got home, Nadia was on the couch, scrolling her phone. She glanced up and asked, "Where were you?" I told the truth. "Met Camille, just talked." She froze, the color draining from her face. "Camille. My ex-best friend Camille?" I nodded. "We just caught up, nothing more. Figured if we're doing this open thing, I could reconnect with someone who knows us both." She stared at me like I'd crossed a sacred line, then snapped. "You're disgusting. I can't believe you do that." I wanted to point out the hypocrisy. Her going on multiple dates with strangers was fine, but me having coffee with an old friend was betrayal. Instead, I said, "You wanted this. Don't get mad when it's not just about you." She stormed to the bedroom, slammed the door, and stayed there all night. I didn't follow. I just sat there, marveling at the absurdity. That's when it clicked. This wasn't about fairness or growth. It was about control. She wanted to set the rules, have her freedom, and keep me in the fiancé box, waiting patiently. She didn't want an open relationship. She wanted a one-sided pass to do whatever she pleased without consequences. Too late for that. Then Camille called. It was unusual. She usually texted, so her name on my screen mid-afternoon felt like trouble. "Everything okay?" I asked. She exhaled sharply. "Guess who just showed up at my place acting like she's on a reality show?" I sat up. "Nadia." "Yup," Camille said, voice steady but edged. Banging on my door like I'd committed a felony. I thought something serious had happened. I asked if she let her in. Cracked the door because I didn't want a scene on my porch, but that was a mistake. Apparently, Nadia unleashed a tirade, accusing Camille of swooping in and ruining everything, claiming she'd been waiting for this moment for years. I sighed, rubbing my temples. "Sorry, didn't think she'd go that far." Camille brushed it off, and we hung up shortly after. The next morning, Nadia gave me the silent treatment. Complete, icy silence. I made coffee, said good morning, nothing. Just her scrolling her phone, lips tight, acting like I'd dented her car and hadn't apologized. She kept it up all day, no questions when I stepped out, no texts, no calls. Just cold detachment. I wasn't shocked. Her outburst at Camille's showed she wasn't mad because I'd done something wrong. She was mad because she'd lost the upper hand. A few days later, she broke the silence with a passive-aggressive jab. "So," she said, scrubbing dishes she hadn't even used, "you and Camille best friends now?" I kept my tone even. "We just talked, that's all," she scoffed. "You know she only agreed to meet because she's always had a thing for you, right?" I shrugged. "Maybe doesn't change that we kept it respectful." Then she threw a barb. "Well, I went on a date last night with someone who actually has his act together." It wasn't a casual update. It was meant to sting. I just said, "Nice," and kept eating breakfast. That probably annoyed her more than if I'd reacted. After that, things got stranger. She started oversharing about her dates like she was trying to prove a point. Dropping lines like, "This guy from the gym said I have great vibes," or "The guy I met Friday thought I looked 25. Constant little digs, unprompted. I didn't bite. I was done engaging. Meanwhile, I kept in touch with Camille. Not crossing any lines, just texting, venting, sharing memes. She'd check in, say I didn't deserve to be anyone's backup plan, and send jokes that made me laugh harder than anything Nadia had said in weeks. One night, Nadia caught me smiling at my phone. "Who's that?" she asked. "Camille," I said, not hiding it. She glared like I'd violated some unspoken rule. "You think this is okay?" she snapped. "You're dating strangers every week, but I can't text someone I've known for years." "She's different," Nadia shot back. She was my best friend. Exactly, I said. You cut her off, not me. That ended the conversation. Then her brother Liam called. We'd always been cool, worked on projects, shared drinks, helped each other out. Hey man, he said, his tone heavy, just checking in. I knew it wasn't just a check-in. She's really upset, he said. Like really upset. Figured, I replied. She's bragging about her dates, but I have coffee with someone she knows and I'm the bad guy? He paused, then said, yeah, but it's Camille. You know that's a low blow to her. I pushed back. So she pushes for an open relationship. I say no, then agree. She goes on dates, and I'm disrespectful for talking to an old friend. He mumbled something about optics and context. I wasn't buying it. Liam, I followed her rules. If she didn't want me talking to certain people, she should have thought of that before opening things up. He sighed, said, yeah, I get it, and we hung up. A few days later, Nadia tried a new tactic. She came into the living room, sat close, voice soft. I feel like we're drifting apart, she said. I replied, that's what happens when one of us wants to date around before the wedding. She flinched. I didn't mean it like that. Then what did you mean? I asked. She had no answer, just looked away like her choices were finally catching up. For the first time, I saw her clearly, not as some enlightened free spirit, but as someone who thought I'd wait no matter what she did. I stood up and said, if this feels wrong, you can end it. She stayed silent. That night, I went for a walk and stayed out late, needing space from the chaos she'd created and blamed me for. When I got back, she was asleep on the couch, TV on, our wedding planner half open on the floor. I put it away quietly. I'm not the hero here, I know that, but I didn't start this. I didn't light the fuse. I just stopped pretending I was okay with a relationship where I was the default while she shopped for something better. The next time she brought it up, I was prepared. I wasn't going to keep circling the same drain. If she wanted honesty and growth, I was ready to deliver. The next week, Nadia kept switching tactics, like she was trying on different personas to see what would work. First snarky, then guilt-tripping, now soft and introspective. She'd ask, do you still love me? Or did we move too fast? I saw through it. Those weren't real questions, just hooks to test if she still had a hold on me. She wasn't subtle either, wearing nicer clothes at home, suggesting we cuddle, cooking my favorite meal one night, then saying, remember when we used to do this every weekend? I remembered. I also remembered her saying she needed to live before committing. I didn't lash out. I'd eat, thank her, watch a movie, then head to bed without making a fuss. My indifference seemed to frustrate her more than any argument would. Then came the big talk. She sat me down on a Saturday, no distractions, full eye contact, voice heavy with forced emotion. I want to close the open relationship, she said. It's not what I thought it would be. I miss us. I leaned back, letting the silence stretch. Okay, I said finally. Her face brightened like she'd tied everything up neatly. Then I added, and I want to end the relationship entirely. Her expression collapsed. What? I'm not interested in going backward just because you changed your mind. So you're breaking up with me? She asked, voice rising. No, Nadia, you broke this. I'm just letting it go. That sparked a day-long argument. She threw everything at me, tears, accusations of being cold, claims I'd planned this, blaming Camille, insisting I'd misunderstood her intentions. She even said I should have stopped her before things went too far. That one stung. Stopped you? I asked. Like when I said no repeatedly and you kept pushing. She went quiet, realizing she'd overplayed her hand. That night, she left to clear her head and didn't return until after 1 a.m., slamming the door and going straight to bed. I stayed on the couch, staring at the ceiling, feeling a mix of calm and exhaustion. I wasn't heartbroken anymore, just done. Done justifying myself, done defending my boundaries, done watching her dismantle what we'd built, and then try to glue it back together when it didn't suit her. Then her mom called, diving in without a greeting. I'm so disappointed in you, she snapped. I rolled my eyes, holding the phone away. You're abandoning her, the wedding, our family. I laughed. You mean staying quiet while she demanded an open relationship 3 months before our wedding? That was fine, right? She didn't like that. She's just going through something. You're giving up too easily. I cut her off. When you're ready for a real conversation, call back. I hung up. 10 minutes later, her dad sent a long text about how men don't commit anymore and how Camille was always trouble. I replied, thanks for the input, Greg, and blocked him. Things went quiet for a few days. Nadia stopped trying to fix things, oscillating between silence and subtle jabs. But I was already checked out, mentally done with the cycle.